Good afternoon, how are you? I asked my little boy what video I should do next, and he said, Mummy, you need to tell your story. Um, this is something I actually find really hard to do. So basically, for me, my illness started from when I was 19 years old. Um, I'd become a student for working the medical profession. I was working on a ward at the time, and I was really struggling. I had a weekend of feeling really feverish and really odd and really just really poorly. And I count from round about that time as to when I developed chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME. Saying that, there were warning signs from way back that something just was not right with my health. I'd say from about the age of 13. This is actually really common for health conditions like mine to start appearing is round about your teens. And some people might even be able to look back at their childhood and say, there were warning signals then. I had constant headaches. I had sore stomachs. I was on Ponstan for period pain. I had growing pains. And just generally was really struggling. By the time I was hitting my last year in school, I definitely had depression, and I was really struggling with my sleep, prone to insomnia, and before I started my course, there were activities I were doing, and I would realise that afterwards my legs would really hurt to the point I couldn't sleep properly afterwards. So it's only really when you get ill enough for your life to totally change that you start looking for what causes this and where did it start. And that's why I'm able to say all of these things. A lot of these things happen during your teens, and it doesn't mean that you are going to get ill. It just means you're a teenager and you're going through all sorts of hormonal changes. The last trigger, I would say, and I'm trying to say this carefully, the last trigger was, I think, when I got my hepatitis B vaccinations. Dr. Charles Shepherd mentions this in his Living with ME book and talks about this being a common trigger. But please understand, I'm not anti-vaccination. If you need vaccinated, get vaccinated. I honestly think, now that I know some other clues, like I know I've had a genetic test which would potentially indicate that I'm more prone to conditions like the ones I have. Right back from when I was born, there are kind of clues that add up to a bigger picture now. I count from when I was 19 because that's when I got to the point I was so unwell I had to stop doing as much. I tried to keep going. It was end of term. I tried to keep going through the summer. I did a voluntary job. I had horrendous back pain. I was struggling to stand. I was struggling to do things. And then I actually don't have any proper memory of this, just little bits of memory of I started the second year of my course, and I remember sitting in so much pain that I wanted a hot water bottle and just to lie down immediately. I don't remember when I stopped, but I had to stop doing my course, and we talked about deferring me for a year. During that time, my mobility started to decrease, and in all honesty, I knew there was a really good chance that I had ME because I'd read something about it earlier in that year and it kind of struck a chord. I just was constantly ill. I had allergic reactions to things that took me a long time to work out. Signs of IBS, really strong signs of IBS. I actually ended up really underweight, anemic, nauseous, feeling sick all the time. And at one point I caught a really bad throat infection that knocked me for 6. When I hit the point that my mobility was decreasing, and I was living in a flat with 7 other girls, and I lived up, I don't know how many flights of stairs, and I realised I was going to need to use a wheelchair because I literally just did not have the mobility. It had gone. And it took ages to get a diagnosis, even vaguely, of ME. But what else they were trying to diagnose me, I was immediately onto, let's try and get this sorted. Let's try and get my diet sorted. Let's try and see if there's anything I can do to get things better. Part of why I'm making this video is I know if any of you have got a health condition, any kind of health condition that has totally changed your life, sometimes it helps to hear someone else's story. You've got to work out a way of using your story because it's a part of what's made you you. I am so sad that I lost my health so badly. I was absolutely heartbroken at the losses that came with it. I lost my career. Eventually I couldn't go back to my course. I lost my mobility. I lost friends. I had to go into a council house, which actually was the best thing that could have happened. But there were so many losses. So what I hope you hear from this video is, if you have had a major health loss in your life, you're not alone. You have other people that are going to be able to identify with you and help you through this journey. And that is so important because nobody can tell you just how lonely and horrendous it is to go from thinking that you were able-bodied and actually I was going to go and try and look after people, to not being able to do that and requiring help. You know, by the time I left and moved flat, I had a home help. Anyway, that's another video. That's another big video. So thinking of any of you today, some of you are on Facebook and I absolutely love you. Please tell me if hearing this story resonates with you. That'd be great. And I will speak to you again soon.